So here's the grill, guys. Here's how it all went down. The shell itself, we only had really, there's a couple dings around here at the top, but really just the bottom edge down here. And pretty straightforward repairs here. The only thing that was anything out of the ordinary is this inside edge. So really having to work upside down like that. So the best way when you're very limited on seeing what the crown is on the top of what you're pushing out, I grabbed soapstone, little pen, draw a little line on there, and we're good. So yeah, really got the torch set up here. So I'm running propane and oxygen here. It's a lot cheaper, I'll get 1 tank of propane, I'll get 3 bottles through that. Whereas when you're doing acetylene and oxygen, you're 1-to-1 on your mix. So it does add up. Anyway, really getting the smallest flame I can here. And it's a really cool flame. It's not very hot. It's just as small as I can. And then just a little bit of the oxygen coming out of there just to turn it blue and just give it a little bit of a point on it. And then that really lets me focus on my area and get a little rose going on in there. And so I'm not heating up the whole piece, just again, locating the dent. Before I really get into it, I really take a good look at the piece and see what has to be done and, kind of get a game plan first on what I'm going to do with it. And then, yeah, little ball peen hammer at this point was my friend, and just a few taps and getting them out. So what I like to do on it is always run a file over on the top of it, and what that does is it scuffs up your highs and low spots. It's real similar, same kind of thing, well, as a guide coat for like when you're blocking out primer and stuff. It's all the same stuff in the end, just different substrate. You're taking down highs and lows, right? So yeah, pretty basic repair, and everything went as it should on it. So, pretty happy. The other thing I got to mention is that I would say the main key on what we're doing here is not to be stretching the metal. We just want to be moving the metal. So when I'm adding heat to this isn't to heat it and shrink it, trying to expand it, nothing like that. It's all just to warm it up. So it's more like a plasticine, if you will, kind of thing, how you can move the metal around. As soon as you start hitting it too hard, you're going to start stretching the metal. And so that's why it's so important to never be striking metal on metal, like a metal dolly with a metal hammer. When the metal's in between that, those two pieces of metal, that just drives it. And what happens is that will expand and stretch out the metal. And then that's when you're going to start contorting different shapes and everything on your metal. And it can get out of control quickly if you don't understand the concept right off the bat that you're not here to stretch metal. You're just going to put it back to the way it was. So I've always got something like a wood block to drive onto and hit onto. And that way, because of the softer substrate, all I'm doing is moving the metal instead of like stretching it contact on contact. So, anytime you hear me hit metal on metal with a dolly or something, that cling, well, you just stretch the metal. So it's something to be very conscientious on. And easiest way to just get over it all with that is just grab an old piece of stainless with a dent in it and hit the dent out on the stainless, and then just look at the piece of stainless, and it will be about a 1/2 inch convex in a straight piece of stainless if you hit metal on metal, right? So, but from there, yeah, the insert. So this thing did have, quite some damage. There was a real good kisser in here, and then a couple up here, and then of course all the fins weren't straight, and just have this piece of plywood out and this Kevlar mallet, and really it's all feel in the beginning. Again, I'm just looking at what has to be done and how it's going to be done, and then come up with a game plan, and then just really feeling it and just kind of doing it by feel. I'm looking at the metal, I'm looking at the grill at what I'm doing, but I'm really just feeling it with my hand the whole time, taking everything out. Like first pass knocks down all the highs and lows on this. Then second pass, I'm doing the same thing over and over. And then every time it kind of just gets better and better. So, you know, there's still a couple spots in here that need a little bit of tweaking, but you know, you got to just do it and then kind of just walk away for a bit and then come back. And if you get too over focused with this, you just go too far and you'll just do more damage than anything on it. But what I'd like to do is get these bolts in here and just get this put back together, and we'll put it on the car and see what it looks like. Right on, so check that out. Pretty straight now. So I've got, I was able to track down the stainless that actually goes around the grill. That's all lined up. I'm gonna go pick that up. And yeah, so throw it on the car here. Hopefully we'll see a difference of the before and after. Oh yeah, that's way better. Right off the bat, just nice and smooth, straight, awesome, cool. So there's another step in her though, and the grill, so right on.